Okay, hello there. It's Paul Green from the business community with another one of our spotlight on interviews where we probe into the business life and possibly personal life of an invited guest. So my victim today is Charles Jones from JPAD Media. Hi, Charles.
Hello, Paul. How are you?
I'm not too bad, mate. Not too bad. So
Good.
before we start prod and poke about your business life, do you just want to introduce yourself and let the folks out there know what you do?
Yeah, sure. So I'm Charles from JPAD Media. We are an event-based business. We specialize in on-site print. So what we do is we attend events all over the country. We take photos and videos at those events and then make them available in print format on the day. In a
Excellent.
nutshell.
Excellent. Sounds perfect. So tell us a little bit about your business journey then. How did you get to where you are today?
It all started by accident. Um, I've always been into like creativeness. I studied art and design when I was younger. There was a photography element to that, but then when I left education, I actually I didn't do anything with it, and instead I went into the building trade, as you do. I was testing the ground for a living, which was wonderful. Um, but then I was a really big rugby player, and I was heavily involved with my local team, and ended up having a rugby accident where I broke my face, and it meant I could no longer play rugby.
Hmm.
And like I was approached by the vice chairman at the time, and he's like, because I suffered from quite a lot of sort of anxiety and depression during the recovery period.
Can you imagine? Yeah.
Um, he approached me and said, like, there's more than one way to be involved, because I was literally there every day
Mm.
doing stuff. And he said, come down, take photos of the game, and like the lads that I was like friends with there, and that they supported me, and they were like, yeah, come take photos. So I did that, and then it led from that to, can you do a family portrait session? And then it was, can you photograph our wedding? And it sort of stemmed from there.
Okay.
And now I'm all over the country, which is lovely.
Excellent. So one of your target markets is the cheerleader community. So how did you get involved in that particular aspect of your business?
So it's not what you know, it's who you know.
Hmm.
So my how do I say it? My sister-in-law's mother
Yeah.
is works for the director,
Hmm.
and their photographer was leaving, and she basically emailed me and said, like, do you want to give it a go? So I went, had a meeting with them, went down to Exeter and saw one of their events, and basically came back to him with a proposal, and didn't get the job. And
Bugger.
I was a bit like, oh. At that point, though, I had a studio in on the high street in Daventry,
Yeah.
and I was just doing that, and then doing weddings and a bit of everything. But then, it was 18 months after I had that no, they got back in touch
Hmm.
and said, right, the company we went with didn't do what they said they were going to do. Can you give it a go? And I was like,
Hmm.
yeah, more than happy to. And we did. We did our first event in December 2000. I want to say 17.
Hmm.
It was a complete shambles. Like, it was dreadful. Basically, like, before we even 2 weeks before the venue we were going to, the Winter Gardens in Blackpool,
Hmm.
like the roof caved in,
Oh, great. Okay.
and so they swapped the venue last minute, and we were supposed to be running like an online concept
Hmm.
where everyone could basically sit at their seats and view the photos from their phone, basically without leaving the hall. There was no internet, so we couldn't
Couldn't
do an
do that.
online. And because it was an online concept, all we had was two computers. You had mine that was, I was editing all the photos, and then another one that was uploading them all.
Mm.
And yeah, by literally so many complaints, it was awful. But then we learned a hell of a lot from that one event, and we adapted like straight away.
Yeah.
And sort of like the next event, that was the start of December, and then the next event wasn't till the end of January.
Hmm.
So literally that period, absolutely just adapted and came back fighting, and been doing it ever since.
Excellent. Well, good job they
And
didn't sack.
absolutely love it.
Good job they didn't sack you after that one, ain't it?
Oh no, they were. To be fair, they were in my corner because
Yeah, yeah,
everything
yeah. There's
everything we'd agreed.
lot of stuff stacked up against you. It sounds like on that particular day. It's always the first one, isn't it?
Oh yes, oh yes. It
So,
was good
so
fun
now
though.
you sort of cover the UK doing that. And am I right in thinking you've had some international inquiries as well since lockdown?
Yeah, so during lockdown, I created a podcast that specialised in the cheerleading sector,
Hmm.
and it opened, like, I was talking to coaches, athletes, choreographers all around the world, and I've now got bookings for Colorado, Florida, Italy, Spain, and a bit closer to home, Northern Ireland.
Wow. Okay. Excellent. Excellent.
So yeah, it's gone a bit wild, and it's lovely though.
Yeah. So what had you decide to create the podcast? Well, let's take a step back actually, because
Yeah, go for
you
it.
were one of the industry sectors that was massively impacted by lockdown. Pretty much your business disappeared overnight.
Yeah.
Do you want to say a little bit about that journey and what you did to try and overcome that? Because my experience from a networking point of view is some of the other people in your profession just ducked out of networking totally, but you sort of like stuck with it. So you just want to tell us about what it was like for you, why you decided to stick with the networking even though there weren't any business opportunities out there, and maybe how the podcast came about as a result of that.
Yeah, sure. So I'll start with like what I actually went through.
Mm,
I see my diary was quite full, and it was predominantly events. Um, and yeah, literally when Bojo said those words that we were going into lockdown, I literally didn't know whether to laugh, cry,
mm.
run away, or any. Well, I couldn't run away because we were in lockdown, but
Yeah, exactly. There's
um,
nowhere to go, was there?
uh, yeah, I didn't know what to do, and I sort of sat there like, oh my god, my world could implode. But then I thought, well, actually, no, it's a good time for me to be visible
Hmm.
and start. I'm a big believer in like self-education.
Hmm.
I I was terrible at school because it didn't interest me, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like business and educating myself on different business practices, like I'm a massive believer in, and it's actually something you want to do, so you're more likely to educate yourself on it.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's when I just literally I went. Well, to be fair, I went to a BuzzCon meeting
Hmm.
in Daventry. It was the last physical one before the lockdown, and I stood up when like everyone does the 45-second pitch. And normally it was, "Hi, I'm Charles. I'm the event photographer." But I stood up and I went, "I'm the event photographer without any events."
Hmm.
And literally the whole room, it just went silent, and there was a few like smirks and like, "Oh my god, what? How do we react to this?"
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
I was just like, I don't like to be a miserable bugger, so I just made a joke of it
Hmm.
and tried to stay positive. And like me doing that, it was tremendous to see everyone in that room either gave me a phone call. I had 3 people come to my studio at the time,
Hmm.
like shortly after, and say, "Right, what are we going to do?" And I was like, "Well, hold on, you've got your own problems." And they were like, "No, yours are worse than mine. Like, so come
Hmm.
on, what are we going to do?" And like, they were a massive support. And I thought, I can't, like, I carried on networking because the support is there.
Hmm.
Like, yes, effectively people go to networking to like create business and business
Hmm.
opportunities, but it's so much more than that.
Hmm.
Like, and it is creating, well, it's effectively in your name, it's a community.
Yeah, yeah.
And like, and then yeah, so I carried on networking because, one, to the support and the community feel that was there. Two, you have to stay visible no matter what. You've got to be consistent, because as soon as you're not, people forget about you.
Yeah, it's true.
And yeah, and then like the opportunities that were there as well, like the education, and it was everyone that's offering workshops, and the support was there, and then they were going, well, maybe you should do this.
Hmm.
And like they were being very helpful for me, towards me. And yeah, I took the opportunity to take them up on their offers, and then yeah, carried on. And like I said earlier, the self-education, I was on every workshop I could find.
Mm-hmm.
That some were free, some I had to pay for.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I did that, and it was a hell of a journey. But yeah, and then from the I was trying to so moving on to your other question about the
Yeah.
podcast, where did that come from? So I spent probably 4 months of the pandemic doing all the self-education, and it was like help, don't sell was the message, or like innovate or evaporate, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, how the hell do I innovate an event photography business and a photo business when I can't go out and I can't take photos?
Mm-hmm.
So then it was just purely like I want to get in touch with my community and the database that I've got.
Mm-hmm.
So I did, and I went out and I said, look, I'm here to help. I don't know how much help I might be. I might just be a listening ear. Let's chat and let's make a podcast out of it and see what goes from there. And yeah, the amount, like the response that I got was wicked. Like I knew of people, say over in America, because cheerleading is obviously massive over there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I got in touch with people that I knew of, never spoken to them. I'd walk past them maybe,
Mm-hmm.
but they came back going, yeah, why not? Let's do it. And yeah, from there it was great. And then I was getting other people coming on, and it was so strange to when we went back to like physical, where we could actually see people in person. When they were like random people coming up to me going, oh my god, I love that episode.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, Jesus. And people like reference things from the podcast, and I always start mine with, in 45 seconds, can you introduce yourself?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's sort of every time someone sees me in the real world, they always take the mick. And they're like, in 45 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, it's yeah, I've loved it, and it is great. The power of a podcast is amazing,
Mm.
I think. And
And
because
how often were you doing them? Was there a set pattern to them? Were they weekly, or was it just an ad hoc thing, or how did you work that out?
so I release them every Monday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was releasing them every Monday, but I was recording them in advance, and then yeah, doing the jazzy little bits behind the scenes, and then releasing them every Monday, sending it out to like my mailing list.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and doing that, and then also like playing games with them at the same time. Like I was doing mystery boxes of, I was sending like a random product that we provide out to one person that had bought from us in the past.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was a case of at 9 o'clock on a Monday night, it was right, let's give us a guess what's in the package. If you guess right, then you're the next winner. Like you're the
Mm-hmm.
next one that's going to receive one. And I was doing that kind of thing with them, and it was good fun. Like I didn't look at it at the lockdown and go, oh my God, what are we going to do?
Mm-hmm.
Like my business is over. It's like, well, no, how are we going to get over it?
Yeah.
How are we going to see the next one? And it was my fifth year in business during the pandemic.
Mm.
And obviously knowing the stats and that of businesses don't last after a year and
Yeah. Yeah.
sentiment
Yeah.
and all that, I was like, I'm not going to be one of those. I am going to make it to 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're in our sixth.
Excellent. Excellent. So is the podcast still going? Is it something that you still do on a
Yeah,
regular?
it's still going, So that I did a season. So
Mm-hmm.
because the cheerleading season tends to stop in July, so I stopped the podcast, and then
Yeah.
season 2 launched on the 1st of November
Right.
with with a 3 times medalist from where is he from? He's actually not far from us.
Okay. Okay.
But yeah, I went and met him, and I changed it up a little bit, and I want to do the podcast in person now.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went and met him, and yeah, we had a long walk
Mm-hmm.
around like his local area and just was chatting. And I had my videographer come with us and film it.
Oh,
And
cool. Okay.
but obviously he didn't think it was cool because it was hurting his arm because he was having to hold the gimbal
Yeah, no, I can
and
imagine. Yeah,
walk
yeah,
forward and then also look at the camera. And he was like, "Boys, you're gonna have to stop for a minute just so I can rest my arm."
yeah. No, I can imagine. I can
Yeah.
imagine. But your walk was nice.
Oh yeah,
Um,
mine was fun.
Okay, the next question sort of leads on nicely to the next question, really, because this, what I ask people, what is your why, based on Simon Sinek's book, Start with Why, and it's really about what's the driving force behind you and your business, what gets you out of bed each morning, and obviously, it sounds like you needed to draw on that quite heavily during lockdown. So, what would you say does that for you? What is your why?
Um, it's a good question, and it's always a blooming tricky one, I
Yeah,
think.
it's not the easiest. In fairness, it's not the easiest to answer.
No, like I always like, 'cause everyone always says like their kids and their family, and I totally agree. And yes, I do get out of bed in the morning to go and make it a success for them, but it's quite selfish. But it's for me as well.
Hmm.
I was always told like I couldn't, and
Hmm.
I wouldn't be anything. I wouldn't be able to do that, and no, you won't make anything of yourself. And it's sort of a big middle finger to those that told me I couldn't.
Mm. Yeah.
And yeah, I want to be successful. It'd be bloody wonderful if I was mega rich, but
Hmm.
that's not what I'm doing it for. Like
Hmm.
I just want to look back and go, yeah, I did that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And
No, I get
it's
that.
yeah,
I get that.
that
So,
yeah.
okay. So there's other photographers out there doing their own thing. What would you say makes you different from your competitors? I guess the obvious one is the sort of like cheerleaders market. I guess not everybody's in that or can access that easily. But what else would you say makes you different from anybody else that out there doing a similar thing?
See, this is always a tricky one. It is very much niche. Like there are so many, like you said, there's so many photographers out there, but yeah, a lot of people don't think we get along
Hmm.
because we're all photographers, and when we're yeah, when you say you're a photographer, people automatically think you just push a button for anything that's in front of you.
Mm.
But I'll give you an example. I went to a networking meeting. It wasn't one of yours, sorry, Paul.
You're forgiven.
But I sat down on a table, and yeah, another photographer came and sat next to me, and there was a person opposite us who suddenly, like, he asked me what I did because he'd never met me before, and I told him, and he knew the other photographer, and he went, oh, competitors," and like we looked each other in the eye, and we went, "No, like not at all. It's very much your niche. I specialize in on-site print. Yes, it's in the cheerleading sector, but it's actually the niche is the large event organizations. So not only do we do cheerleading, but we're the media partner to the Emergency Service Football League.
Okay.
We've got Indoor Hockey UK,
Hmm.
and then there are others, but I'm not allowed to reveal them just yet.
No, that's fine.
But yeah, so it's very much niche in what you do, and it's specializing in that area of what you do. I think that's what's different. And me, I'm a bit mental.
Yeah, you are a bit mental. Yeah,
Yeah,
I have to agree with
mental.
that. Okay, that's fair enough. So outside of lockdown, which I think has been most small businesses' biggest challenge, in the 5 years that you've been in business, what would you say has been your biggest challenge outside of the pandemic?
Good one. Growth, like consistent growth.
Hmm.
I think it's because yeah, when I first started, it was a case of right, how do you consistently get money like on a monthly basis, like keep your cash flow going
Mm.
without having to constantly be on the hustle.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, and it's trying to figure that out, and it's always a challenge.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, and I want to build something that it isn't just like a one-man band. I want to build a team, and I'm slowly doing that.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's keeping up that, it's containing the growth.
Oh, your sound's gone, Charles. Have you disconnected yourself? Nope. Something's happened.
Am I back?
Yeah, back now. Yeah.
Wicked. Yeah, it's sort of learning to walk before I can, or no, yeah, learning to run before I
Learn
can
to
walk.
walk before you can run. Yeah.
Yeah.
So have you got staff at the moment, or do you just have contractors, or how does that tend to work for you right now?
So I have contractors at the minute.
Yeah.
That, yeah, they work with me on a regular basis. But yeah, in the near future, I will have staff members.
Okay.
Because,
Excellent. Excellent. Well, good luck with that. So final thing, then your ordeal is over. So if you were to give one top tip for any business out there, from one small business owner to another, what would that top tip be?
Take every bit of advice you can.
Okay.
And constantly learn. Like, yes, be an expert in your field, but don't think because you're an expert in your field that you know everything. And because let's face it, we don't.
No, absolutely. I think.
But yeah, it's helped me massively. And then, can I give you another one?
Please do.
Yeah, it's surround yourself with people that you aspire to be. Because like, I can never remember what the saying is, but it's, yeah, you start becoming, what is it, the most people you spend time with, or something like that.
Yeah.
5 most people you spend time with, you start to become the average of them.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
On the lines of that.
I can't remember the exact quote, but you're absolutely right. I think that both of those good advice, because anybody that starts a small business, and it's come up on some of these spotlights before, is you dive in because you've got most people are technicians, if you like, in what they do, so that they're experts in whatever is the product service they do, but they don't necessarily know about marketing, sales, accounts, networking, you name it. And also, I think, when most people come out of the corporate world, I guess on the whole, and when you're in the corporate world, you'd have some ongoing corporate CPD, continuous professional development, whatever that might be. And I don't think there's any reason to stop that. There are, as you said, certainly in the virtual world, there's been quite a lot of free stuff out there. And I think, people should get into the habit of doing at least one workshop a month, relevant to what they're trying to achieve, and just, as you say, just sort of developing that small business owner muscle, if that makes sense. So I think from that, and then the last thing you want to do is surround yourself, particularly in the last sort of whatever it is, 20 months or so, is surround yourself with the doom mongers and the people that are negative and down and about it all, because that's the last thing that you want. I think you adapted quite well in as much as you stayed networking, where some of your competitors just who knows where they went, they just sort of went. And I think from your point of view, it seemed like it benefited you, and I think because you kept your profile there, then I think people are more likely to come to you now as the photographer in the group, rather than some of those people that disappeared 20 months ago or whatever. So I think that was a good strategy on your part. It was interesting for me to see how similar sectors showed up. So one of the other sectors comes to mind was like the travel agents industry. Some people disappeared, yet other people just sort of like stayed on, and even though they didn't have anything to offer, they just sort of kept people updated what the rules were doing. And I think now for the person I'm thinking of, I think that's paying off for them, because now
that's
they
it.
want to get out and about, and they're going back to that person, because that they stayed on the journey with everybody else, even though it was a shit time for them.
That's it. And it's like I was saying earlier, and it was the support. Yes, I couldn't do any work, but I could be an ear for someone, or I could give advice on experience I've had. Like, they could take it and they could laugh at it, but it was being there, present, and that my intentions weren't to get rewarded from it, but I did. Like, it was more being satisfied from like helping people. And
Yeah. Yeah.
then, I mean, like back in the summer, because I had all that help from everyone and the support, I did, I did a family photo session, and
Mhm.
I was like, just come, I don't want any money. Like,
Mhm.
I'm going to do it for you free of charge.
Mhm.
And yeah, it was lovely. And then again, people on there that were a part of the community they came along, but I'd never met them before in person,
Mhm.
which was weird.
Mhm.
But then I felt like I knew them because we've been chatting for months and supporting
Yeah.
each other.
Yeah. 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 Well,
Yeah.
hats off to you, for sort of like getting through that and adapting your business. I'm glad the podcast worked for you and has helped you be an international business now, which is great. And, I hope you remember us when you're a millionaire, Charles. So,
This time next year, Rodney.
so we'll end the broadcast there. So thanks very much for your time, Charles.
You're very welcome. Thanks for having me, Paul.